Is up, team? Here you are, live with Big Boys Boxing. Once again, I'm Jono, your host, and as per usual, let me get a few things sorted, and we'll get into it. So first things first, we want some sounds. Hopefully I got my settings sorted. We get the show on the road. So, can anybody in the chat let me know if the volume is too loud for the music? It should be okay where it is, but we will see. So, I'll give a quick breakdown of the heavyweight dust-up over the weekend that I was particularly interested in, and that was Hughie Fury versus Alexander Povetkin. This fight here. So, excuse me. Alexander Povetkin gets the decision unanimously and the same score across the board, 117, 111. Now, personally, I thought that was pretty wide for what it was. I still got my score sheet here, and just give me a sec here, make sure everything's, we're good. So my score sheet here, I got Hughie winning the first 3 rounds, and I've got him winning round 5, and Povetkin won round 4 and 6 in the first 6 rounds. So straight away, for me, that kills the 111 score, because Hughie won more than 3 rounds, in my opinion. The second 6 rounds, I gave Hughie the 7th round, and I gave him the 7th round, and then I gave Povetkin all the rest. So that works out to a score of 113, 115, right? 115 for Povetkin. There's my score sheet right there. I thought that would be a fair score. The fight itself, we'll have a look at some of these photos here. It was pretty typical performance from Hughie Fury when it comes to elite level. Moving a lot, trying to stay out of harm's way, concentrating more on don't get hit than get hit. And see, even his jab most of the night wasn't effective. You can see here, he's at full extension and it's only just touching Povetkin's face. It's not smacking his head back. I did see throughout the fight that I thought Hughie was trying to throw the right hand more than he usually does at this level of a fight, and I'll find a picture here, that this one here, look, see how the punch is going over Povetkin's head. He was doing that with the right hand all night. It was just not accurate. Povetkin was doing a few body shots here and there, but coming over the top with the right hand and the left hook, and catching Hughie now and then as well, which is a feat in itself, because the dude's fucking hard to hit, man. And this is why in my prediction I thought the fight would go the distance, and I was correct, and I got my money. Got a good payout for that fight. I was paying like $3.50 or 3.5 to 1. But Hughie, once Povetkin was in close, he was doing a lot of holding and he wasn't getting warm. There's another right hand, look, sailing over behind Povetkin's head. He knew how to get away with it, and if Hughie had been shooting that right hand at the chest when he threw it, he quite likely would have caught Povetkin a lot more, maybe in the temple or the behind the ear with that right hand, but yeah, it just wasn't working for him all night. There was one right hand that landed, but Povetkin's not staggering back, is he? Yeah, he took a shot. There's not enough on them to get respect from Povetkin. Now, both fighters slowed down in the second half of the fight, and I thought Huey slowed down more than Povetkin. Povetkin was starting to blow a bit after like round 3. You could see his mouth hanging open a bit, but he still maintained a pace for the rest of the fight, and he was the one with showing the aggression, throwing his hands, and as I also stated in my prediction video, the judges favoured the guy who's trying to make the fight. So I think the right man won the fight. I wouldn't argue with anybody who called it a draw, being honest, but I would definitely argue that Huey did not win the fight. I mean, when I was watching the fight, my stream cut out just into round 11, and at that stage I had Huey down 1 round, Huey up by 1 round, right? The final 2 rounds that I managed to catch on a replay, I thought Povetkin won them, and that gave him the 115-113 win. So in my eyes, the right man won the fight. Povetkin, I guess, for Eddie Hearn, is set up for another big fight against one of his many heavyweights in the stable at the moment, the likes of Michael Hunter, Sergey Kuzmin. Those two are fighting in a couple of weeks, by the way. Alexander Usyk, I wouldn't mind seeing Povetkin in there with him. Joseph Parker. We're not going to see a Price rematch. Of course, there's Anthony Joshua. We're probably not going to see a rematch there. But there's also Dillian White's a possibility as well. There's plenty of possibilities for Alexander Povetkin, and man, maybe Huey Fury is how do I put this without trying to be disrespectful? Maybe Huey Fury is a 24-year-old gatekeeper to the elite. If you can't get past Huey Fury, then maybe you don't belong at the top of the heavyweight division. There was a few other fights that I caught over the weekend. Just let me have a quick look here. When I got up, it was like 5:30 in the morning here in New Zealand, and what was the first fight I saw? It was the Joe Cordina fight against Gavin Gwynn. It was a pretty entertaining fight, but Joe Cordina was expected to win that, and he did. The next fight was Charlie Edwards and Julio Cesar Martinez Aguilar. So that fight got turned into a no-cost contest. I was a bit pissed off with that because I had money on that one. I had Martinez to win by knockout because the odds were pretty good, and thanks to Delboy giving me a heads up, because I didn't really know too much about this Martinez guy, but I did a bit of research and thought, shit, he might beat this. He might beat Charlie Edwards, and the odds are paying well for a knockout. So I put a bet on it, and he would have stopped Edwards by knockout had he not thrown a punch when Edwards had a knee on the ground. You know, the TAB had paid me up, and then they took the money back, sons of bitches, and refunded it. So that was due to Mauricio Solomon. Seeing it on the replay, the WBC, with their sanctioning, they do use instant replays, whereas the British Board of Boxing Control don't. But because it was a WBC belt fight, he jumped in the ring and explained that there's going to be an immediate rematch. It was an unintentional foul, and we pretty much know who's going to win that fight now, though, don't we? So next time round, I don't think I'll get the odds on Martinez to beat Edwards. It is what it is. So, and then we had the Huey Fury fight with Alexander Povetkin. And finally, we had the Lomachenko versus Campbell fight. That was a bloody good fight, man. And big credit to Luke Campbell. He stepped up his game. He was winning some rounds off Loma now and then. So I won some money on that fight too. I put 3 bets on that fight. I put 1 for the fight to go the distance. I put 1 for Loma to win on points. And I put 1 for Campbell to win on points, just as a backup with a small amount, but that was paying $18 or 18 to 1. So if it had come off, I would have been very happy, but I still made money because the other 2 bets were paying like $3.50. So that was a very good fight to watch. But I guess now's the time. I shall get some invites sent out and we'll see who wants to join. Firstly, I'll send this one. Then I'll drop one on Discord as well for anybody else who might like to join. Booyah. And get something out to the regulars in just a moment. And get this show cooking. I also watched Erislandy Lara versus Roman Alvarez on the weekend, Canelo's brother. Roman Alvarez turned up to the weigh-in an hour late, 4 pounds overweight, and when he got in the ring, he just didn't look like he really wanted to be there. Looked like he was there for a paycheck, and that was it. But yeah, that was pretty much all I watched over the weekend, so it is what it is. We have unrivaled boxing talk and news in the house. How are you today, brother?
I'm good. How's you?
Not too bad at all. You enjoy the weekend's boxing, mate?
Yeah, it was good, man. I paid for the Sky box office card. Interesting card, drama, controversy, interesting fights. I liked it. What's more to enjoy than that?
Yeah.
You have a pound for pound guy fighting 2 Olympic gold medalists. You have a heavyweight fight on the card, which was intriguing. We had a knockout win, which was ruled for no contest. We had a prospect get a knockout defeat over someone who'd never been stopped before. And we had a competitive fight in Gwyn versus Cardina. So all in all, a good night.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the American cards as well? Or it's a bit late for you,
I watched Canelo's brother pretty much just turn himself into the greatest fighter of all time.
He just turned up for a paycheck, I think.
He showed up for a few, got grand and pissed off and spent it all in one night. That's what he did. That's bad. I don't know what he was at.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty, wasn't it? But
Oddly, Harrison put on a better performance against David Haye.
That's saying something, man. It was sad. It kind of ruined my day.
At least Oddly tried to move around a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed that that Sky Sports card. That was awesome. And to many surprise, Luke Campbell did pretty well. I thought he stepped up his game from what we've seen from him before, and he made it competitive, and credit to him. But Loma's a phenomenon. Some people saying Lomachenko's been exposed by Luke Campbell. It's like, what? Exposed for what? Being human.
I'll tell you now, I think he was exposed. I think he was.
As in how?
As in, we know what his limitations are. Some people before this fight were saying he could go up to 140 and beat those guys. He's too small. Yeah,
well, I've consistently said I think he's at his limit at 135 with his frame, and even he said post-fight himself it was starting to get pretty difficult with that reach disadvantage for him, and that's why...
It was a massive reach disadvantage, massive, and look, BoxRec has him at 5'7", the dude's 5'5", he was 4 inches shorter than Campbell.
Yeah.
4 inches. Campbell's a legit 5'9". We saw him next to Linares. Yeah, he's a short guy, man. He's small. His frame is small. His body was tiny. It was actually like watching two different weight divisions for real. It really was.
Yeah, indeed, it was.
It was like watching a guy who was 135 pounds fighting a guy who was maybe Loma gained 3 extra pounds. Luke must have been 146, 147. He was huge.
Yeah, massive, alright.
And that's the limitation, I think, for Loma.
Yeah.
He can't. He. These guys are a bit big. They are, and he is fighting with size disadvantages, and that's where I feel he's exposed in terms of it. At 130, he's a monster. At 126, he's a monster. Not in terms of size, but just because of how much closer those guys are to his size. But at 135, it's a different league of size. It really is. They're so big. They are huge. And they are real lightweights. Comey is 5'8". Fucking Tiafimo's 5'8". I mean, Herring, who's at 130, is 5'9".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are big guys around Super Feather in there. Like, yeah, Tank is 5'5.5", but him and Loma are roughly about the same height, for real.
Yeah. I mean,
they really are.
I'm sure
5'6".
I'm sure there are plenty of guys at 140, even 147 that Loma could beat, but not the elite guys. No freaking way.
Look. Josh Taylor is faster, more powerful, taller, rangier, and probably a better boxer than Luke Campbell.
Yeah.
If it's him landing those body shots on Loma, he's going to back him into a corner. He's going to take him out.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rating Taylor that high. He's just too big. This guy rehydrates to 159 on fight night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can rehydrate 19 pounds.
Yeah.
That's massive. That's actually massive. He's a huge guy. And, I mean, Regis Prograis, I've heard him come in as high as 157, like 156. I've heard Ramirez coming in at 156, 157. Morris Hooker, 158. I think Loma could probably beat Morris Hooker, maybe. But then again, Morris Hooker has an 80-inch reach.
Yeah.
They are big.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these lightweights are bigger than Keith Thurman. These super lightweights. Like, not even being funny with you, Taylor's bigger than Keith Thurman. So is Prograis.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
like, Manny Pacquiao carries a size advantage over Loma.
Yeah. That's saying something. That was a point I was going to get to, because he fought down at 122 at one stage, didn't he? But
he fought down debuted at Mini Fly.
Well,
108. Yeah. But people forget Loma, when he was 16 years old as an amateur, was fighting at 102 pounds. That's 3 pounds below minimum weight.
Yeah. It's tiny. He's a midget.
He's a small man.
Yeah.
This guy was fighting at 116 in the Olympics for his first gold. 116 in 2008.
Wow.
He's 19 pounds above that right now. 19 pounds. Now, in the higher divisions, that doesn't mean much. But 116 pounds, right? 1/6 of that is 19 pounds. 1/6 of your body weight, 16.666666667%, or whatever you want to go to.
Yeah.
Of your body mass.
Yeah, well,
like, if I were to put on 16% of my body mass, mate, I'd be huge.
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to think of it as a percentage of your body weight, not just 13 pounds or whatever, because a percentage of a small guy's body weight is a lot smaller than the percentage of a big guy's body weight, isn't it? Simple
exactly.
as that.
Because let's just say Kovalev, he's 175, right? Say he took on 1/6 of his body weight. That's 29 pounds. He's 204 pounds the next day.
There you go. He's
huge. A heavyweight. He skips past cruiserweight. He's in heavyweight. That's massive.
Yeah. Huge. But Moving on a bit, I guess Luke Campbell gets a bit of respect out of that fight. I think that Luke Campbell that we saw in the ring on Saturday probably would have beaten Jorge Linares when they fought, but you know, foresight's a wonderful thing, and there was compounding issues when when Campbell fought Linares. You know, his father died a couple of weeks beforehand, and some personal shit going on. But yeah, I think Luke's probably still gonna hang around in the top 10 easily after that fight, and maybe we're gonna get to see Loma take on the winner of Comey and Lopez, hopefully, and we possibly see a 4-bout unified champion not too far down the future at 135. So
the first one.
The first one, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, like, I mean, think about it. Like, Chavez, Duran, Purnell, like, these guys were all 3-belters.
Yeah, well, WBO wasn't recognised in their day, was it? So
no, and we haven't had undisputed since then. And even then, the name of lightweight undisputed champions like Benny Leonard, Joe Gans, I mean, Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker. It means something to be in there. It means something to be an undisputed lightweight champion. It's one of the original divisions, and it's a marquee division. Some of the greatest fighters of all time have held that acclaim, like Duran, like Leonard. You know, who else? Oh, I was thinking of somebody there, and his name's escaping. Tony Canzoneri. Like, these guys are all top 25 fighters of all time.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, you might know, Unrivaled, do you know what Campbell's weight was on Fight Night at all? Any idea?
It hasn't been released by the sources that I normally use yet. It hasn't been uploaded yet. They don't normally get that for 5 or 6 days.
Okay, fair enough.
But
he's big enough to do 140, possibly even 147 with that reach, isn't he? So.
Well, at 5'9", with that reach and his frame, Luke Campbell is bigger than 9 of the top 15 ranked. 9 of the top 15 ranked lightweights according to WBO, BA, IBF rankings. Well, he's actually a big boy.
Put it this way, he's bigger than Jeff Horn, who's fighting at 160. Well, might not be anymore after the weekend, but
he's not really bigger than Jeff Horn. But shout outs to Australia for doing the world a disservice.
Yes.
You woke ass people.
Since we mentioned it, did you see that fight? I haven't managed to see it yet. I was read about the results and whatnot with Jeff Horn and.
I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it.
No. Okay.
I'm not watching it.
Fair enough.
I'm happy the stripper beat him up, but I'm not watching it. I'm not watching a card where they were trying to stop women from making money because of some feministic bullshit culture. I refuse.
Oh yeah, first I heard of that one.
You haven't heard it, right? So in Bendigo, a councillor for the area, I can't think of her first name, something Wigsworth or whatever. She's like the main councillor of Bendigo. Her and like activist groups and everything put it up that they didn't want ring girls or whatever for the card. So for half the card, it was like ring boys and stuff. And because the fans kept booing, the promoter said fuck it and just put the ring girls in. And apparently they were cheering like crazy, but that's disgusting. So I refuse to even support the card because of that.
Fair enough.
I refuse to. It's not because I'm being sexist. It's because they're being sexist. That's what they're doing. They're saying that these women are objectifying themselves by being sexual objects. No, you've literally just objectified and sexualized them by calling them that. They are doing their job. One of the girls came out and said that this is helping with her university fees, and you have the nature within you to say that she's a sexual object. That's objectification. Sexist. And it doesn't do female empowerment any good for you because you look more like a man than I do. It doesn't, like, I've seen what she looks like. She looks really bad. I apologise, Jono, but
Yep.
at least you're not monetized. She shouldn't be doing. You have no right to tell a woman what her line of work should be, and then you call it objectification and sexualization.
But they have the
Excuse
choice.
me.
It's not like they're forced to do it, and they're getting paid. What's the big deal?
This is my thing. If a woman wants to work in a Starbucks, yeah, making coffee for people and passers-by, is that sexist?
No.
But they won't say it is. But what if I spin it like this? Well, they're serving me all day. That's sexist.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Okay, well, when I do go and watch that fight, I'm going to make a point to not look at the ring girls because I don't want to turn them into sexual objects. Fuck's sake. Ridiculous. But anyways, alright, so what else have we got in the news? Oh, we've got Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora was confirmed yesterday to be the the chief support for was it Taylor Prograis on the 26th of October at O2 Arena in London, so that's good news. There was a bit of a article came out a couple of days before the confirmation that Parker's team were pushing to try and get anytime VADA testing included in the contract, and magically a day and a half later the fight got confirmed, so it must have been included in the contract. I can understand why Team Parker were pushing a little bit for that with the recent things that have gone on with UCAD and Dillian White and so on and so forth. But yeah, good news, but expected news, so it's all good. We have Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio and Tommy Temper in the chat as well. How are you boys today?
Yes, Jono. How you doing?
Not too bad at all. And
Yvonne Wigglesworth.
Yvonne Wigglesworth.
Yvonne Wigglesworth. She was a councillor from the Bendigo Council.
Oh, okay.
Who objected to the ring objectification of the ring card ladies.
I wonder if she's ugly. Might have something to do with it. A bit of jealousy.
No, she's ugly. She is ugly.
She is
I
ugly.
Built like a man.
I haven't seen a picture of her, but during my live last night, Scotty 50, he came in and he said there were ring card boys instead of girls. And I said, you what? He says, yeah, no ring card girls, there were men instead. I said, okay, Scotty, you've been under scotch, mate. You've been under scotch. So early this morning, he sent me a link, and sure enough, councillors in Bendigo two councillors in Bendigo had objected. The promoter capitulated and swapped out the ring card girls for ring card men.
Fuck's sake.
But it was interestingly, they weren't called ring card boys. They were called something like ring round managers.
Yeah.
Round managers.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They were called ring round generals. Ring
round managers.
Oh,
Called
wow.
ring round managers.
It all sounds wrong.
It does.
It was crazy.
It does.
It was crazy. But then that's not the end of it. Halfway through or 2 hours into it, he changed his mind again and said, no, get the girls on.
Yeah, the promoter didn't like the booing from the audience by the sounds of it.
That's right.
Shit. Man, men like to look at women.
Yes.
It doesn't make them sexual objects. We just like
It's
to,
just
they're
nature.
attractive to look at.
Nature. It's nature. We generally, as a rule, we tend to prefer to look at women rather than men.
you know, and I could expect that a lot of the guys that were at the actual event, a lot of them might have got up and walked out.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at these dudes.
No, it's not pleasant.
Good marketing strategy. Far out. Silly fellas. Anyway, since you two boys are on, we better get some opinions about some fights that happened over the weekend. Where do we want to start? Down the card a little bit, I suppose. We want to start at Joe Cordina versus Gavin Gwynn. How did you guys see that fight? You want to start there, Rafi?
Yeah. Cordina was just the sharper guy, wasn't he? He was the sharper guy. I thought the commentators were a bit Cordina happy. It seemed tighter than they were making it sound. But then eventually, as the fight progressed, Cordina did show more class. His class started to come through. And he pulled away. He finished him, didn't he? Did he? Finished him. I think he finished him. Did he or did he not?
No, it went to points, I think, didn't it?
Did he go to points? He dropped him at some point, did he not? He dropped Cordina. Cordina didn't drop. Yeah, anyway, Cordina looked the sharper guy by the end of it as the fight wore on. Deserved victory by Cordina.
Yep. Much to say about that one, Tommy?
No, not a lot. I didn't see it.
Okay, fair enough. You want to drop some comments on that one, Unrivaled?
Yeah, I thought Reese outworked him for the first 8 rounds, picked up the 5 of 8. Then he picked up the 10th round as well, and I thought it should have been a draw, and so did everybody who was watching it in my comment section. They were all complaining, saying that Cordina was way too, cards were way too wide. At best 7-5 Cordina, probably could have been a draw. Reese had no power, but he was snapping back Cordina's head, and he outlanded him according to CompuBox by about 112 punches.
Yeah, I definitely thought, like Rafi said, the commentators were extremely favourable towards Cordina. I thought it was a much closer fight than what they were calling it, and I think it was like 7-5 as well. I thought Gwyn did a pretty good job, considering he's supposed to be at least a level below Cordina. But he was there to fight, man, and got to give the dude credit. If it was somewhere else, maybe it would have been a draw. Who knows? But I guess Cordina moves onwards and upwards. We'll see what happens with him. He's now 9-0, so let's go Cordina. See if he steps up to fully elite level. He may trip up pretty quickly, but we'll see what happens. The next fight on the card was the Charlie Edwards, Julio Cesar Martinez fight, the one that ended in controversy with a no contest. I kind of had some money on that, and I was jumping up and down, going yes, I've quadrupled my money. And then Mauricio Solomon got in the ring and killed my buzz.
Mauricio came to the rescue of Edwards.
Yeah, but to be fair, from my point of view, that's one of the most sound, fair calls that the WBC has made in quite some time. So
what was the referee? What was the referee thinking? He was right there. He saw the leg blow.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't say anything about it. I mean, it could have been a disqualification, but you know, Solomon said that he thinks it was unintentional. So, and
real
you know,
time is hard to judge.
It is, and I think maybe the British Board of Boxing Control maybe need to look at using instant replays for situations like that, kind of like the WBC does, particularly if the referees aren't going to pick those things up. So,
yep.
Yeah, but the referee was right there, though. I mean, I thought he was pretty clear cut that the guy was on the ground and he got hit by the Mexican fella. Yeah. He got hit one of his square. He was prone on the ground.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why he continued the count and didn't call a foul.
Well, there's
Very strange.
Also the argument, you know, protect yourself at all times, even if you've got a knee on the ground. But
yeah, knee in two hands.
I know Martinez was complaining that the referee hadn't tried to step in and start the count, so I'm going to keep throwing punches. I mean, you see a dude's knee on the ground, you got to stop punching, man.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But,
yeah. Good call by Suleiman. I was wondering what he was going to say when he came in, because he had this sullen look on his face. I thought, oh no, what's he going to say? And then he goes and pleases the crowd. Fair play to him.
Yeah, immediate rematch, but I don't think too many people will be thinking Charlie Edwards is going to win that rematch after that performance, because even without that last punch, I think Edwards was getting beat the shit. He's getting the shit beaten out of him.
He's getting lit up. Lit up.
It was. You want to talk about that fight, Unrivaled? What did you think?
Well, first of all, Martinez is very good, man. Very good. He's very unconventional. Very unconventional. How many times do you see guys throwing like 6 hooks back to back? You don't see it. It's hard to defend against, especially when it's coming from that old school Mexican football, the shuffle step that he uses to get in. And when he got in, he just beat the hell out of him. I'm happy that it was ruled to a no contest, because in all honesty, the second it happened, I said it should be a DQ. And it should have been a DQ. He hit the man on the ground. But some people are arguing and saying corruption in England, because the British Boxing Board of Control don't use the instant replay rule, but the WBC were able to usurp them in their own country. But it's a WBC ruled fight, so for me, I'm happy to see the instant replay rule. I am. British Boxing Board of Control should use it, because it can help stop shit like this. But some people are saying Edwards, if he immediately rematches, he's going to get beat. Yeah, most likely. But they're saying he might not even rematch him. He might go up to 115. If I was him, I'd stay away from 115, man. If he can't take Martinez's power, what's he going to do with Chocolatito, Estrada, and Seriscat and this side?
He's going to be on his back looking at the lights a lot, isn't he?
They're bigger, stronger, and faster. They're exceptionally good. All 3 of them have been in the pound for pound list, and that division's filled with monsters. So just take the rematch, see if you can do it. If you can't, try and get a fight with Caliafoy, maybe.
Yep. Much to say on that one, Tommy?
No, because I didn't get to see that one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough. Alright. Next one on the list was the Hughie Fury versus Alexander Povetkin fight. I pretty much gave my take at the start of the stream on this one. So, you want to take it away, Rafi?
Yeah, sure. Well, my thinking was that up until the 6th round, it would be Povetkin's fight. If it went past, and I thought Povetkin would knock him out potentially. If it went past the 6th round, then I saw it as Hughie Fury's fight, on the basis that, he'd be able to, Povetkin would be gassing out, and he would be able to cruise on. That is Hughie Fury, with Povetkin being a spent force. Very shocking to see a kind of role reversal in the first 2 rounds. What's his name? Hughie Fury came out in the first 2 rounds and won the first 2 rounds. So there I thought, what the hell is going on? It's gone topsy-turvy. No way did I anticipate Hughie Fury coming in the first 2 rounds with that kind of energy. I thought he'd be on the back foot. He wasn't. He was on the front foot. Crazy. But then, after the 2nd round, you had Hughie Fury winning the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. I only had Hughie Fury winning the 1st and 2nd round.
Fair enough.
And after that, I only gave Hughie Fury. I gave Hughie Fury the 1st round, the 2nd round, and the 7th round.
Okay.
3 rounds. I gave him 3 rounds.
So you scored it the 111, 117 like the judges?
Yeah. 3 rounds to Hughie Fury. I felt that my observations are that Hughie Fury's just got nothing on the jab.
Yeah.
with his God-given attributes, which is length, you would have thought that he would have prioritized a stiff jab, but he just hasn't got one.
It's just a flick all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got nothing on the jab. He's got nothing on the jab.
Mm.
So he's using his prime, he's using what could be a prime weapon, and he's just going to waste.
Totally.
And now I'm questioning whether he'll ever really amount to whether he'll ever fulfill what we thought was his potential.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You want to have a go at that one, Unrivaled?
Oh God. You know, watching it drunk, I somehow gave Fury the win. But rewatching it 3 times, yeah, they lost comfortably. He looked great for the first round. Looked like his cousin actually for the first round. Second round, a little bit, but his stamina wasn't there. And then every time Povetkin came in, he clenched. I counted about 51 clenches from Huey engaged by him. That's disqualification territory. Could have been disqualified, but he wasn't.
Never even warned, was he?
No. Wasn't warned for rabbit punches either, which he should have been. Povetkin did very well, even though I can see one thing. Povetkin's slowing down.
Yeah.
Mate, I don't really know where to go from this. He's got no power on his jab. He doesn't know how to use an angle successfully, and his footwork, he goes back in straight lines. He's fast, he's got length, he has fast feet, but he doesn't use them. And he's got no technique on his right hand either. You can see it coming from about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
With no eyes.
See how many times it missed too. There's just no accuracy. I could see he was trying to throw it more often, but if it's not going to hit anything, what's the point of fucking throwing it?
Pretty much. I mean, I scored the fight 9-3 to Povetkin officially after rewatching it 3 times. 9-3 Povetkin.
Sweet. So 117, 111 as well. Okay. Tommy, did you see that one, mate?
Yes, I
Woohoo!
did see that one.
What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm bored. I'm really bored.
It's pretty much the same
Yeah.
story. Every time Huey Fury steps in with an elite opponent, you're gonna be bored. You know, you're supposed to sit there and admire boxing skill, but all he's got is feet. He's got no hands. He's got no power. And how far can he go? Not farther than any gatekeeper at this stage, in my opinion. You know, he's a good test for these up and coming guys who have got O's. If you can't get past Huey, you're not gonna be able to kick it at elite level for me. So
did you have the record amount of rabbit punches in a fight?
Probably.
No, nowhere near.
No?
No?
Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Fritzy Zivic once threw 197 rabbit punches in 5 rounds. So
Whoa.
That's impressive.
Did that dude get disqualified?
How
Or not?
did you train
no,
for
he
something like that?
He didn't get
he
disqualified.
did. He was the dirtiest fighter of all time. This guy,
Oh,
actually.
It's a
hit the dude in the
specific
nuts.
kind of punch, rabbit punching, you know? He must have, and through that many, I mean, he must have trained for rabbit punching. Serious?
Yeah.
Who, Yui?
No.
Yui?
This other
No,
guy.
whoever had the record.
Zivic.
Wow, scary shit.
But what my point is about the rabbit punching, I think he got warned once or twice by the ref.
Yeah.
Yui? That was ridiculous.
Yeah. There's a lot that the referee should have been warning Huey about, and he was getting away with all night. I mean, how much holding he was getting away with was ridiculous.
Crazy.
But, you know, I thought it was interesting that Povetkin was kind of blowing after 3 rounds, but then he was still able to maintain a pretty consistent pace for the rest of the fight. And it seemed the pressure from Povetkin gassed Huey up. He slowed down considerably.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was surprised by Povetkin. You know, like I said, I was expecting Povetkin to blow out by the 6th or 7th round, but then it was role reversal again. It was Yui who was blowing.
Yeah, well, I kind of made a point prior to the fight to a few people who thought Povetkin was going to gas, that I didn't think Huey puts enough pressure and doesn't throw enough punches to help Povetkin gas out, if you know what I mean.
I heard you say that.
I think that was the case. I mean, if it was somebody who had good volume or tried to come forward against somebody else coming forward, then yeah, I think Povetkin probably would have been pretty much spent by round 6 or 7. But Huey just ain't got it, man. He just ain't got it.
No, and I don't think he's going to get it either.
No. They've been talking about trying to get him more aggressive and making improvements for a couple of years now, and we just haven't seen it, have we? Haven't seen pretty much anything improve from
We
Huey.
haven't seen it, and people are saying maybe he'll develop this and develop that. But you know, as a boxer, you come into the game with certain attributes, and then those attributes are refined and honed and crafted. But in this case, it seems like the narrative is, yeah, he's going to get it. He's going to get a stiffer jab. He's going to get a stiffer right. He's going to get this. He's going to get that. But what has he got? What does he actually? What are his attributes?
Yeah, I think
the attribute that I can see is his evasive skills.
Yeah,
he seems to ride a shot.
Rolls with him well. He knows how to get out of the way.
He knows how to get out of the way. He seems to roll with. The one thing I was impressed with is the one thing that he did better than I anticipated in doing was rolling with the shot, because I always thought his defense was based on his feet, but no, he weaves backwards and he somehow just rolls with the shot.
Yeah.
That to me is his key attribute. But what about the punching?
Yeah, you can't be a boxer without any hands. Hey, simple as that. If you ain't got the hands, you ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, there's an MMA fighter with no hands, and he seems to manage. But I mean, he's got short, little, stumpy arms, and he seems to manage. Yui Fury seems to be a boxer without any hands. Seriously.
I wonder if maybe something drastic, like many people aren't going to like me saying this, but maybe a new coach. Peter Fury is a great strategist, but whatever he's doing doesn't seem to be getting through to Huey, or he's trying to teach him the wrong things. He needs to learn how to punch. So
it would be nice.
I don't know, but he's under Matchroom now, so maybe somebody's going to suggest it, but it's a pretty tight relationship between father and son, so I don't know how anybody's suggesting that's going to go. Particularly.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yep. I agree. Totally.
Look, Peter's a great strategist, but he said multiple times Huey's not following his game plan in the ring.
Oh, okay, I haven't
You
heard
can
that.
train a guy to... Yeah, he said it like 4 or 5 times now. You can get a guy to fight. You can get a guy to do what you want, but you can't make him do everything he needs to do. It's up to him. Once he's in there, you can tell him what to do. He has to do it. And Peter was giving him great advice in the corner, but Huey can't. If his own dad can't...
Yeah, who's going to get through to him if his father can't?
That comes down to nature. That comes down to who you are. And Huey might have been training since he was a kid to fight, but he doesn't have that, like, real fighter mentality. He's a calm guy. You can tell. A real fighter, like, even his cousin gets accused of being boring, right? But we'll all agree that his cousin's way more made for fighting. He's got that, like, temperament. He's got a fighter's temperament. Whereas Huey seems like it's just something he's been a part of as opposed to wanting to be a part of.
Yeah. It's like a bland robot. Almost.
Can I come in with my take on this? I wonder, I have a hypothesis. I wonder whether there might be some sibling rivalry going on with Peter and John, and Peter's saying to his son now, Huey, if Tyson can do it, you can do it. If Tyson can do it, you can do it. And I think that he probably needs to get away from his dad. I'm not saying that he's going to become a better fighter overnight. If he gets away from his dad, he may become a worse fighter, but the experiment needs to take place. It's happened before in the history of boxing where, you know, where the son, Floyd Mayweather Jr., separates from his dad. Well, that was only 4 separations. His dad went to jail.
Yeah.
But it's happened before in boxing. Wasn't Mosley trained by his dad at one point or something? But anyway, I don't know. But we need to try. The experiment needs to be tried. They need to separate the two, Huey and Peter. It needs to happen because we need to know what would happen if they were separated. They owe it to themselves. Huey owes it to himself, because I think there's some family sibling business going on there, I suspect. And you know, your dad saying, well, look at Tyson. He's done this, that, the other, blah blah blah. They need to separate and see what happens.
Yeah, like Unrivaled was saying, it's if nobody, you know, if his father can't get through to him, then who will be able to? But at the same time, maybe the relationship's too close.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different kind of input that needs to be in there. I don't know, but I think, like you say, Raphael, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, they seem to have come up against a brick wall, and what's the point of standing there bashing your head against the same brick wall and going nowhere? You might as well try.
It's the same result every time. It's the same result every time. It doesn't produce.
Yeah.
So what could be? I mean, nothing worse can happen. I mean, maybe he can get knocked out, but I mean, but they need Huey needs for himself. I mean, he's a grown ass man now. I'm sure he's not still living in the family home. He's a grown ass man. He's got his own home, I would imagine. He's a grown ass man. At a certain point in your development, you have to, you know, flee the coop and be your own man. At the moment, maybe he's not being his own man.
Yeah. Much to add there, Tommy?
The thing is, right, he does have a very good chin, but he just doesn't have the confidence, I think, right? He has the ability to fight. He showed that in the first round, but after that, once he gets spooked, he goes into this mode where he kind of threatens to throw a jab, he threatens to throw a right hand. But that's kind of what he does, but he doesn't really get stuck in, so to speak. He's lost that will, that eye of the tiger. Once he gets spooked, he's, I wouldn't say useless, he's just there to survive. And it's like he never really had the dog. The dog that he has had is like the
an
dog.
act.
That's it, Jono. You got it. You got it.
Like,
yeah.
You know, we saw
have enough dog. Yeah.
Pre-fight with Parker, he tried to put on some dog, and it didn't look right. You know. And like you say, as soon as he gets touched up a little bit by somebody who can punch, or somebody who can put a lot of punches together, then he seems to go into that survival shell, and that's it for the rest of the fight. Everyone falls asleep.
That's it.
So that's what it is.
I think I know one good thing that could be good for Huey, and I mean this. Get him doing some sparring with Derek Chisora. As much as people might not like to hear that, Derek will toughen him up.
Or Dillian. Anyone like that. I mean, they used to...
Dillian might actually viciously put him to like, Dillian's vicious in sparring. Derek can actually, like...
Derek can let him work a little bit.
Yeah, Dillian doesn't do that in sparring from what I heard. I heard he's very vicious, but Derek will let you work. Getting him in there with rough and tough guys in sparring, like a Derek, even bring in a bit of Joey the Waco. Get him out there in an Andy Ruiz camp. Get him in there with guys who are sparring, guys who are hitting. Get him toughened up in sparring, because the people I'm hearing who he's been sparring with as of late, like Tom Little and stuff.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's going to build his confidence,
Tom Little
but
getting you ready
it'll be
for
false confidence.
Povetkin, mate.
No, that's right.
Tom Little can't give you 2 rounds, never mind 3.
Not at Povetkin's level anyway. Shit, no.
Or even bring in Nathan Gorman. That's your cousin. Bring him in. He'll hit you. He'll hit you hard.
Yeah.
No.
Well, even
Just get rough and tough guys in there.
Even Tommy Fury, get in there with him. He's a bit of an animal. Another Cuzzy.
Feather fisted though.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna find out one day soon. I'm hearing people talking about let's make Tommy Fury versus Marcellus Wilder.
Fucking hell.
I don't know about that.
How many fights has Tommy Fury had? 2?
I think
Yeah,
it's
2 light heavy.
yeah.
He has 1 stoppage win over a guy who was 0-26.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But to be fair, that guy who was 0-26 has only been stopped 4 times. So.
Okay. He's there as a punch bag.
I think Yui's just risk averse.
It's just what? Sorry.
Risk averse.
Yep.
He's just extremely risk averse.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing in his current setup. I really don't. He's got to get away from his dad.
Yeah. I've said it many a time. Boxing's about hit and don't get hit, but Huey Fury's about 20% hit and 80% don't get hit.
Yeah. I think, and I wonder if being in there with Tyson, because they were in the same camp for an extended period of time. I wonder if being in there with Tyson and just trying to avoid his shizzle that he brings, just kind of put a blueprint on him.
Yeah. I hear Shane Fury used to box and he's a bit of an animal. Maybe he'd be a good one to get in there with Huey and teach him some dog. I don't know. Yeah, definitely needs something. But anyways, we should move on to the main event. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. Great fight to watch. I've pretty much given my opinion already, so once again, take it away, Rafi.
Yeah. A lot of people weren't giving Luke Campbell any kind of chance. He was going to get knocked out. There were people picking rounds where he's going to get knocked out. You know, the 4th round, no, he's going to do a bit better than Corolla, so it's going to be the 6th round. I was just hopeful. And optimistic. You know, I was just hopeful that Vasyl was going to get a proper fight. And Luke did as well as he could possibly have done. He exceeded most people's expectations, including mine. He came out there and he used the best strategy I think that one of the best strategies that anybody's used against Loma. He just used that jab and he kind of used it in a way where he wasn't necessarily aiming to hit, but he was aiming to keep some space. And the objective, it seemed to me, was that when Loma came in too close, within real striking range, he could catch him with the right or catch him with something. And it was a great strategy, as was his strategy of going to the body. I believe he hurt Lomachenko to the body. I noticed a point where, I can't remember what round it is, where Loma started to keep his elbows noticeably glued to his sides. So that told me that Loma, or rather Campbell, had earned Loma's respect with those body shots. Very proud of Luke Campbell's performance, going to the body. Obviously, that was a strategy arrived at with Shane McGuigan, his trainer, and I think it worked beautifully. I think he did as good as he possibly could have done with his skill set. Got Loma's respect and hurt Loma to the body, and then showed his heart, showed his grit when he got back up off the canvas. I think that was in the 11th round, maybe.
Yep.
Got back up off the canvas and tried to put it on him in the 12th. Came back and tried to put it on Loma in the 12th. Came out all guns blazing. Awesome performance.
Definitely. I thoroughly enjoyed that fight, and Campbell exceeded my expectations as well. So credit to him. I think he definitely stepped it up compared to some of his previous performances, and
Yeah.
he definitely did get Lomachenko's respect. Lomachenko said so afterwards. He didn't think he was hurt, but he definitely felt some of those punches, particularly the body shots. So
Oh yeah.
it was good to see Luke Campbell not try and abandon his attributes
Yeah.
and try and fight like Orlando Salido did. It's just not in Campbell to do that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
you got much opinion on that one there, Tommy?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight. Thing for me, right, is when Luke Campbell was actually on form, my criticism of Loma is that he didn't move his head, and he didn't have enough head movement for me. He's a little bit too stationary with his head. But in saying that, when Loma was on form, to me, I'm gonna I'm gonna sound stupid here, but I did see shades of Bruce Lee with his right hand. I thought he was very, very effective with his right hand.
Yeah.
Brilliant fight.
Indeed. And you want to give us your breakdown there, Unrivaled?
Firstly, I'd like to say Tommy's having a whale of a time. That dude's drunk right now.
Yeah, just a bit.
Sunday communion.
It's confirmation, bro. That's confirmation right there. I thought it was a very good fight. I thought Campbell did better than a few people would thought he did. I thought he held his range well, shot well to the body, slowed Loma down a bit, he used well of his size. Loma is a lot smaller, and he used his size pretty well. But as the rounds went on, like there was a couple of times Campbell had success. There were some close rounds. You could have scored them either way, depending on what you preferred. Did you prefer the double, triple up jab from Loma getting into the inside, fading to the body? Did you prefer Campbell with his lead right? But it was kind of with the droppage. I can understand the cards. I mean, I had it kind of wide as well. But once again, I was drunk. Rewatched it again. Had it a little closer. I had it 9-3 to Loma with a drop, but I originally had a 10-1 and 1 even. But I don't mind how you score it. If you score it like 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, 12-0, whatever, as long as Loma won. That's the one thing I'll say. But it was a very good fight. And Luke, he does belong at world level. He definitely is a world level fighter. All these guys calling him a British Euro bum, like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because at lightweight, there's very few guys outside of Loma who are beating that guy. Like Comey has no defense and doesn't know how to come forward. But he's powerful. Teofimo Lopez showed that he can't get past the jab when he fought against Nakatani, who had never fought at world level at all. So Luke did very well, and Loma did very, very well to get past that reach and win the fight. It was a good fight.
Definitely. A good weekends of boxing in the UK in particular. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't watch a hell of a lot of the American fights. I just watched the Erislandy Lara versus Roman Alvarez. He just didn't turn up. I was very disappointed. That kind of killed my day. I was on a high after winning quite a bit of money in the morning, and then went and watched some American boxing in the afternoon, and it was a buzzkill. Never mind. Maybe next weekend, maybe a bit different. Actually, I haven't even looked into what's coming up next weekend. I think the weekend after that is a decent weekend of boxing. Anybody want to butt in and let us know if they're looking forward to anything next weekend? Do so. I have to look up the schedule.
Well, for next weekend?
Yeah. I don't think we've got much on next weekend, do we?
It's on the 7th. I'm trying to remember off my head. I was so focused on this, and then I'm focused on like the 13th with Haney and Adulayar. That's a very good card, actually. Kuzmin versus Hunter.
Hunter on there. Yeah.
Akhmedov versus Danny Roman. Great card. I'm trying to think what's on Saturday though.
Oh, we did have one other heavyweight dust up over the weekend. Tyrone Spong had a win. But,
no, I do know one. Jorge Linares is actually in action on the Japanese card next Saturday.
okay. Is he fighting anybody of note?
No.
Okay.
He's fighting a guy called Al Toyogan. And he's fighting him, and he is 10-4. So, 3-weight world champion Linares is fighting a guy who's 10-4. That's not a great look, to be honest.
Not at all.
Miguel Roman's in action next weekend, but he's fighting a cancer journeyman as well. What else is on? I'm really trying to think.
Another one of those.
Oh, I know there is one that nobody's interested in. Salva's fighting for the vacant IBF minimum world title.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit beyond my range. I go down to about 135, and that's me.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't actually watch 105 at all. I just heard about that fight randomly on the fucking forums.
Yeah.
What else is next week? There's a fight at York Hall. Wadi Camacho is fighting at York Hall, so that'd be interesting. Like, there's a few British title. Like, there's the British title. There's a Southern Area title on. English title on, so that'll be interesting.
No light heavy action next weekend or cruises or anything.
Well, Wadi Camacho's a cruiser. What that does you. There's nothing really next weekend's dead, Jono.
Okay.
Gonna be honest.
What's
It is. I'm looking at the schedule here now as well. It's really dead.
Yeah. The following weekend's got a few good fights, so yeah, I guess we will wait and see what happens in the news. We're still waiting for any information about Dillian White and his WBC investigation. We've got confirmation for Parker and Shizora on that card on the 26th of October. We still haven't got an announced fight for Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder. It's not officially announced yet. Usyk, there's a few rumours going around who he might fight. I did see.
I heard he's fighting Sprung, maybe.
I heard that's a rumour, but I also heard Shannon Briggs might be getting the call up as well.
The Shannon Briggs fight is literally a joke. It was a joke by Eddie Hearn on IBF, but some people think he was being serious. No, it's Tyrone Spong.
Okay.
That's being heavily linked. If he's fighting Tyrone the Love Sponge, but it doesn't matter. Just once he gets a heavyweight fight at this stage, that's all I care about.
It's unfortunate. I would much rather have seen him fight Takam than Tyrone Spong, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Like, it's a heavyweight debut. He's got to get his feet wet before he does anything. So Tyrone Spong's unbeaten at this stage. We don't know exactly what level he really is, but I'm sure Usyk will take care of him. No problem anyway. But yeah, still excited to see Usyk get going as a heavyweight.
he's got to get going, hasn't he? He's got a big title fight coming up soon.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's only going to be able to get one, possibly two fights in. Probably 2 fights in before he gets his WBO shot at whoever's holding the belt at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, you better get busy. Get busy.
Absolutely.
Just looking through the schedule a bit more, see if I can see anybody else in the next couple of weeks for the heavyweights anyway. I can't really see anybody of note, so no, man, just looking pretty quiet. Oh, we got Tyson Fury and Otto Wallen.
Oh, bloody hell, how can we forget about that one?
September 14th, man.
Yeah, a couple of weeks away. So
Yeah.
It's the day after Kuzman Hunter.
it is interesting. Is that Kuzman Hunter on a Friday in the States, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And then Fury and Wallen on the Saturday, so Have we got anything else confirmed for that card that's worth mentioning yet? You'd want to bloody hope so. Let's have a look. Oops, that's belt. That's not the event. Where are we? Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallen. It doesn't have the card. What the hell? Do it another way. Give me a sec here, fellas. There we go. Event. Okay, we've got a few fights confirmed for that card. We've got Emmanuel Neveretti. He's going to be fighting Juan. How do you say that? Elordi.
Elordi.
Yeah.
That's Flash Elordi's grandson.
Oh,
Flash
okay.
Elordi is a Hall of Famer from the Philippines.
Yeah, he's 28-1 at this stage. Off the top of your head, who's he lost to, Unrivaled?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I'll have a look.
He hasn't fought anybody of no. No one of no.
Oh, where's this
So-
loss? The loss is way
It's early in
down.
his career.
Yeah.
It was. It's nobody I can even think of. Like,
Jerry Guevara.
all I know is the only time he lost is the only time he's fought outside of Asia.
Okay. And it was a UD decision, and it was only a 4-rounder. So, not too much.
Anything can happen in 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that this dude's been fighting pretty much the bum of the month club. Never that day walks strong.
I'd say so. I'm not noticing anybody on his record that I know. So, yeah, a walk in the park for Neveretti by the sounds of it. We've also got Jose Pedraza on that card, and he'll be fighting Joe Zepeda.
Jose Zepeda versus Jose Pedraza,
Yeah, the battle of the Jose. Yeah, 30-2 is Zapata, and 26-2 is Pedraza. So that's all that's confirmed for that card at this stage, which is a little bit
That's
unusual.
a good fight, by the way.
The last one we mentioned, the Jose's.
Yeah, it's a very good fight.
Just looking at their record, they seem like they're very similar in level. So, I'm a big fan of very competitive fights, as most boxing fans are.
Zepeda's only lost twice. Once was at lightweight where he was drained heavily against Terry Flanagan, and the other one was against Jose Ramirez. He lost a majority decision, and a lot of people actually think Zepeda beat Ramirez, the same Ramirez who beat the shit out of Hooker. Whereas Pedraza's only lost to Tank and Loma. But this fight is taking place at 140, I believe. Pedraza's naturally a lightweight, and Zepeda's naturally a 140 pounder. So this is going to be an interesting fight.
Okay, sure is.
And Zepeda's the bigger puncher with 25 knockouts. Pedraza with 13.
Indeed. Definitely, I'm just looking at some stats on. What's the belt? Just make sure it's going to be at 140. Where is it? September. Las Vegas. What is this? Oh, yeah. Lightweight contest. So there you go. Well, yeah. Nothing else confirmed for that fight as yet, and we're 2 weeks out, so old Dinosaur Aaron better get his ass into gear and get that sorted out, so we know what we're looking at, since it's so quiet for boxing at the moment. But yeah, we've pretty much come to the end of our content list. If there's anybody who would like to bring up any subjects, now's the time to do so.
Did you hear Bob Arum confirm that Fury will not be fighting in the UK in December?
Oh no, I did see an article that he said he would be fighting in the UK, or maybe I misread that. We'll see.
No, Fury said he wanted to fight in the UK in December, but Bob Arum came out recently and said that Fury will not be fighting in the UK. Well, he just laughed. He laughed and said, absolutely not.
Well, he's trying to hog him now, eh?
Yeah. Definitely not. Absolutely not was Bob Arum's response.
That might piss old Fish Eyes off a little bit. I mean,
well, I don't think Fish Eye said it. It was strictly. I think the only person I heard it from was Fury himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fury was the only person who said like, "Oh, I'll fight in December," like or whatever. And a few people like were taking him seriously, and then Arum said, "No, that's not happening."
Okay. Well, I guess Fish Eyes is probably still making a bit of money off putting the Fury fights on in the UK. So, whether they're in America or not, it's just not a favourable time for UK viewing, really, is it? Most of the time. So, but I guess Arum's only got him for reportedly 5 fights or something like that. So
yeah, 5 fights. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. If Fury ends up fighting Wilder on his final fight of the ESPN contract, maybe he will get to come back to the UK and have a few fights there, depending what happens. Whether he wants to still keep going. I mean, if he's got $120 million in his pocket after he's fought Wilder, he might be happy to chuck the towel in and live the rest of his life and rolling in money. So who knows?
Indeed, he may very well be.
But I suspect if he manages to beat Wilder, then he will want to try and get the undisputed legacy. But we'll see what happens, I guess. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, anything else anybody would like to bring up before we shut it down? Crickets. Alright.
Nope.
All good. Well, that's us for today then. Thank you to everybody for joining us in the chat. And of course to my panel members. Every single one of us has a channel of our own today. Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Make sure you get over, subscribe, check out his content. Very knowledgeable man. Runs a lot of live streams over there. Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio also has his channel. Does regular streams at least 3 times a week and also puts out some decent content video wise. And Tommy Temper also has a channel, does a lot of memes. If you haven't, make sure you get over to everybody's channel, check them out, subscribe, and be happy. Alright, so thank you very much everybody for turning up. Any final words before we go there, Rafi?
No, just great weekend for boxing over here in the UK. It was a great card. Enjoyed it very much. Yeah, just keep it boxing.
Awesome. Tommy Temper, final words.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching Loma fight, especially seeing him watching him fight a bigger guy who's the same sort of what you say stance as him. That was very interesting.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
We've got some Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Final words there, brother.
If you're watching on archive and you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're still in the chat, hit the like button. And if you're new around here, do subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks once again, gentlemen. Wouldn't be the same without yous. And that's us for today. So, this is Big Boys Boxing, Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, Tommy Temper, and Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And we are out.
Out.
See you.
Zoo.